Welcome back to Atlantis, Paradise Island, and the PCA main event where it's all about fun in the sun in a serenely beautiful backdrop. More than 95% of the starting field have already busted, but when you're in paradise, that's no reason to be glum.
The best place to be here at Atlantis is outside. I'm standing on 141 acres of water park, and with over 18 slides and rides to choose from, if it's a thrill you're after, you won't be disappointed.
And there have been plenty of thrills inside as well. The largest field in PCA history, an incredible 1,560 players created a $2.3 million first prize. Some of the greatest players in the game came to Paradise dreaming of poker glory, but walked out empty-handed. Yet for the 48 who remain, the dream is still alive, as we will play down to 24 players tonight. Several young pros are hoping this could be their breakout moment, including one of two women left in the field, Ana Laura Marquez.
I'm pretty proud of myself. I think I've played really good.
But it is our TV table where the battle of the Chris's will unfold, as Chris Moneymaker, fifth in chips, will tangle with chip leader Chris Oliver. It's time for Day 4 action to get underway.
Hello, I'm James Hartigan alongside last year's PCA High Roller champion, William Reynolds. Let's see who's at our feature table on Day 4 of the PCA main event. We've got Chris Moneymaker, the 03 World Series champion, plus the tournament chip leader, Chris Oliver, and a player from the UK looking to do the EPT double. And we've got the oldest player in the room, Romanian amateur, Anton Yanel.
Chris, we're counting on you to bust like 20 to 24 today, so.
I think easily have.
But people have been going pretty fast in this tournament.
We're already down to 48 from the 1,500 plus who started. So these are the players we'll be watching on our feature table. Quite an international mix, and it'll be interesting to see how Chris Oliver plays. He has a very aggressive reputation, which he's hoping will earn him that PCA 2011 main event trophy. Blinds are 10-20 with a 2K ante. Action is on Anton Yanel with pocket fives. Doesn't want to play.
It's a tight fold under the gun, but I'm fine with that. He doesn't want to tangle with the small pair with such an aggressive table, aka Chris Oliver,
who has ace-queen.
Oliver says that he will do whatever he has to do to run his opponent over. He's not scared to lose this event.
He's raised it to 44,000. We see Marco Barbieri and Toby Lewis both fold. Action's on Adam Geyer, who finished 15th in the PCA main event in 2009.
And here he has pocket jacks versus the aggressive Oliver. He is out of position and slides in a stack to re-raise.
117,000 is the 3-bet.
Hello.
Oliver shoves.
I call.
And Adam Geyer calls all in. He is ahead, but it's pretty close. We're off to the races.
Apparently Oliver is alert enough to say all in.
So Geyer's tournament is on the line here. He still leads on that flop of 5-6-5. Oliver needs an ace or a queen. Yanel would have flopped quads.
Too bad, so sad.
7 of clubs changes nothing. Adam Geyer just has to fade. Aces and queens on the river. 6 outs for Oliver. It's a queen! And look how excited Chris Oliver is.
No day is so bad it can't be fixed with a nap or a queen on the river. Maybe that will wake Oliver up.
Geyer's out in 45th.
I fold pocket 5, please.
Fold pocket fives.
Good luck, yo. Good playing with you, man. Thanks.
A brutal river for Adam, who'd hoped to go better than his finish in 09.
He's busted half the field so far.
Well, after that knockout, Chris Oliver now has more than 4 million in chips, sitting comfortably atop the leaderboard, with Canada's Philippe Plouffe in second and Germany's Max Lemansky in third. Moneymaker is still in the top 10, as is Mike Sowers, 8th in chips overall, and involved in a pot against former professional football player Paolo Rink. Sowers is going to bet the turn. Action is on Rink, who was born in Brazil but played for the German national team. He's made the call. So there's now 336,000 in the pot. The board reads 3, 4, 6, 10 with 2 clubs and 2 hearts. It's the Jack of Spades on the river. Action is on Sowers. Sowers has checked. Rink checks behind and shows 9-10 for a pair of 10s. And those 10s are good. Rink will rake in that pot. Meanwhile, on one of our other outer tables, John Spadavecchia has moved all in with 7s. Philippe Plouffe hit top pair on the flop.
20, 40, might be 6 already.
And is considering making the call. He makes the call with ace-jack, putting Spadavecchia at risk. The Italian will need to see a 7 on the turn or river, or he's eliminated. The turn is the 5 of clubs. Spadavecchia has 2 outs, and he doesn't hit one. Plouffe improves to an ace-high flush, and Spadavecchia is sent to the rail. He is our 44th place finisher. Big thumbs up from Philippe Plouffe, one of the few amateurs left in the field. He is a 31-year-old cafe owner from Montreal, and he's currently 2nd in chips right now with a stack of nearly 3.4 million.
Plouffe has nowhere to go but up as he qualified for this event online.
Let's head over to Sam Stein's table. Sam, a player who had 2 second-place finishes on the North American Poker Tour last year, involved in a pot against Bolivar Palacios. Stein has the lead with a pair of 8s, Palacios with the flush draw.
Stein is well known for large hero calls.
Palacios has checked to him on the turn, and Stein has checked behind. There is the flush for Palacios, and he checks it on the river.
Stein also has an 8-high flush. He may be considering a hero value bet.
It looks like he is going to bet it. And he makes a bet of 213,000. Palacios calls with the second nuts. And he will win that pot from Sam Stein.
Who should get penalized for throwing his cards into the muck.
I knew you had a pair like that. I knew you had nothing. That's the difference. Good read too.
The difference is you value towned yourself, Stein.
Palacios now up to nearly 1.3 million. Let's head back to our feature table, the table of the 2 Chris's. The legend that is Moneymaker.
My hero.
And the chip leader that is Chris Oliver.
My hero's potential nemesis.
Now, you know, Chris, you can't bust me. You understand that, right?
Why's that?
Because if I make the final table, my wife flies down here to come see me. And that is going to happen.
Okay.
So, you cannot bust me.
At least not for a few more days.
Final table, okay. Because my wife's going to come down here. We're going to get no kids for a weekend. It's going to be amazing. So
We're supposed to start feeling sorry for Chris Moneymaker. What's the world coming to?
Have to say, Chris has been in remarkably high spirits over the last 4 days. We're seeing a new side to Moneymaker.
going into this tournament, if I would have not performed well in a hand or something like that, I would have beaten myself up. Nice hand. Losing poker tournaments is a common occurrence. You're going to lose more than you're going to win. And time after time after time, you know, you beat yourself down. It gets frustrating. I made a conscious decision to get into shape around November of last year. I got a life coach. He's made me look at the positive things in life.
My name is Sam Chauhan. I'm a mindset coach. A mindset coach is somebody who helps you perform at your best. When things are going bad, usually the person is doing the same thing over and over. And so first step is to break that pattern, create good energy.
He's got amazing success in helping poker players sort of get to the right place. Sam doesn't teach poker. He wants to improve my mental mindset towards poker, but he also wants to improve my entire life.
Chris has a lot of negative energy. I sat down and talked to him and said, look, I don't want to see you complaining. I want you to look at something that was challenging and look at it as a good lesson.
Nice hand, guys. I'm doing things that are positive for my body, and I'm trying to be more cheery. Over time, I'm going to get to where I want to be, and Sam's going to help me do that. I think I've got something on Chris. I think he has a little bit of a tell, so I'm hooked.
Wants to stay with strategy.
I know when he's going to play a hand, I think.
Good.
Like, he looks at his cards out of turn, and I think I picked up on when he's going to play and when he's not going to play. So I hope that holds true. If it holds true, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
So Moneymaker telling his mindset coach that he has a live tell on Chris Oliver.
It's all about the live reads.
Well, action is on Oliver here, under the gun +1. He looks down at 5-10 offsuit. And he's got a lot of chips in front of him, so he figures, why not throw some of them in the pot? He is raising with garbage.
Chris Oliver claims he played 13,000 tournaments in 2010. I guess that gives him expertise to play such garbage.
It's been folded round to Chris Moneymaker in the big blind. He has ace-jack suited. The sunglasses go on.
How much is it?
41 total.
Additional 21 to Chris. And he will make the call.
Is that like 1.5?
What's that?
Yeah, like 1.5.
Yeah, basically.
Oliver eyeing his opponent's stack as the flop is dealt. No help to either player. Moneymaker's ace high still good. He checks to the razor.
Who is surely going to fire.
Oliver makes it 54,000.
Chris Moneymaker knows Chris Oliver has a wide pre-flop opening range. A dry king-high flop misses most of that opening range. Money is confident enough to peel a turn with just ace-high.
And he hits his jack on the turn.
Now once he hits this card, it's going to be extremely difficult to move Moneymaker off of this hand.
Looks like Oliver is going to fire a second barrel. He does bet again, 73,000.
Cheap price.
Did someone break your check button? I think you lost your fold and your check button.
The only thing Oliver checks is the degree of slant he angles his hat at.
Moneymaker makes the call. We go to the river and we can see that Chris Oliver is drawing dead. It's a queen on the river. Can Chris Oliver bet enough to take Chris Moneymaker off his pair of jacks?
This is a scary river card. Ace-10, 9-10, there's other two pairs.
Moneymaker has checked it. Oliver is going to try and bluff at it one last time.
360,000 in the pot.
And he is going to bet 114,000.
Generally, to get someone to make a big laydown, you need to make a big bet.
I call.
Clearly the bet wasn't big enough.
Moneymaker is using those live reads he just talked about with his life coach to benefit his chip stack.
He will add nearly 600,000 chips to that stack.
I found my check button on the river if it wasn't a queen.
What's that now?
I was finding my check button on the river if it wasn't a queen.
I didn't like the queen, I'll be honest.
I didn't think you did.
Oliver better check himself before he wrecks himself.
Moneymaker in the zone and now up to 1.9 million.
Welcome back to the PokerStars.com Caribbean Adventure main event.
The blinds are up to 12,000, 24,000 with a 2K ante. And we have two new players at our featured table. In seat number 1 is Bolivar Palacios, while sitting in the 4 seat is 22-year-old Texan pro Grayson Ramage. It'll be Marco Barbieri under the gun here. He'll fold. Toby Lewis not interested. Ramage also gets out of the way. ENL passes. Moneymaker looks down at 5-3 offsuit and releases. Chris Oliver, the man with the broken fold button.
Oliver has changed the angle of the hat, but his aggressive game has stayed the same, and he is going to open up another 9-5 suited.
He raises to 59,000, and Bolivar Palacios in the big blind looks down at ace-6.
59.
A fair hand to defend in position. None of these poker players want to work a 9-5, but they are all chomping at the bit to play it.
So with Palacios making the call, we'll see a flop. It's deuce 4-4.
This is a very safe flop to continue the aggression.
I don't think he needs any encouragement, William. He will continue for 67,000.
If there's one man who knows how to bet, it is Oliver.
Palacios will make the call and see a turn card, which is a 3, giving both players a straight draw.
This actually gives Oliver more reason to bet as he is up and down.
139,000.
Palacios did not believe Oliver on the flop. There is no reason to change his mind now. maybe there's something I don't know.
He's called again.
Palacios does not want to get bullied around by Oliver. A courageous battle of the blinds.
The river is a 5, so Oliver makes a pair, but Palacios gets there with the straight.
Chris is wise to slow down.
There's 546,000 in the middle. Palacios considering a value bet.
200.
200,000.
This is a small river value bet that Oliver can only call if he puts Palacios on a missed flush draw. As the table heard earlier, Oliver is lacking a check and full button, so I wouldn't be surprised.
He has made the call. One could argue it's an optimistic call.
Well, now he has to pay the man his money for his costly misread.
Oliver's still the chip leader, but has dropped down to 3.1 million. Bolivar Palacios has made 2 final tables on the Latin American Poker Tour, looking to make another here at the PCA.
When I play, I represent my family, myself, and my country. Poker in Latin America 2-3 years ago, people didn't have a clue of how to play it.
Got lucky.
It's evolving a little bit, but still has some work to do. Basically in Latin America, like, people are like too emotional when it comes to like celebration. You always hear somebody screaming. That's standard in Latin America. When I was growing up, I always had a feeling that I was gonna do something different, that I was gonna do good financially, but I didn't know what it was. And I found poker, and I think this is what I like. Now I think it's my time to win, and I want to win it so bad. For me, for Santiago, which is the town where I'm from, and Panama, and Latin America. Bolivar Palacios, PCA champion, that sounds awesome.
Palacios finished 7th at LAPT Punta del Este in 2009, and more recently came 2nd at LAPT Rosario. Out in the field, at one of our outer tables, we find one of the last 2 remaining women in the tournament, Erica Charasti, all in and behind, ace-5, crushed by Max Lemansky's ace-king. Erica needs a 5 on the river, it doesn't come, and she is sent to the rail. She finishes in 42nd place, collecting $52,000. And that means there is one woman left, Ana Laura Marquez, who's involved in a hand against Philippe Plouffe. Marquez has flopped a set of jacks, Plouffe trailing with 9s.
It may be hard for her to extract value with this set, as the 9s are going to play cautiously.
She checks, and Plouffe cautiously checks behind. It's a 9 on the turn. Now Plouffe has a set as well.
Now Marquez will have no problem extracting value. In fact, she's probably going to get maximum value.
She's counting chips, clearly with the intention of leading out. She will bet 150,000.
And he's going to double check to ensure he did turn a set. And after verifying it, I expect him to bump up the price to play.
He's announced raise.
Raise coming.
She's loving it.
And concealing it so nicely.
275,000 more.
It's a battle of 2 big stacks. One is about to get smaller and one is about to get larger. Marquez should be content with the amount of chips in the pot already. I don't expect any fancy play. I expect an all-in. A well thought out all-in.
790,000. 790,000. I re-raise.
Re-raise 790,000.
It's not quite an all-in, but it is a committing re-raise.
Wow. Aces?
Plouffe worrying about a set of aces. Close. It is a set that has you crushed.
Much more?
But it's the jacks.
515,000. I'm all in.
Plouffe shoves on her,
All in call.
and she will call. And he sees that he has one out, or he is going to double up Ana Laura Marquez.
Set over set is one man's problem and one woman's fortune.
10 of diamonds on the river means Marquez does get the double up. And she will now be third on the leaderboard with a stack of almost 2.7 million.
Thank you.
And Philippe Plouffe will fall from second position to fourth. He now has 2.5 million. Chris Oliver still leads, and Chris Moneymaker is still in the top 10 in ninth position. Galen Hall has slightly more than Moneymaker. He's 8th in chips overall. He has a gut shot straight draw against Eddie Sabat's pair of kings. Sabat has made it 31,000 on the turn.
This is an extremely small bet. Galen Hall doesn't believe it. He thinks if Sabat had a real hand, he'd be betting more to extract value. He's going to check raise bluff. It's highly unlikely Sabat goes anywhere with top pair and a gut shot.
Sabat will call.
That puts almost 500,000 chips in this pot.
Galen Hall does not hit his straight, but Eddie Sabat does.
This is a bad river for Hall to continue on. It hit a lot of two pairs, straights, flushes, you name it. He should seriously consider slowing down, but he does not. He throws in another bet, 275,000.
Sabat does have the straight, but is a little bit worried about the clubs on board.
Can't believe you bet that card. I call.
He does make the call, though.
Do I have to show my hand? I guess that's a good thing.
Galen Hall shows the 6-5. Sabat shows the king-queen for the straight.
Sabat didn't believe him for a good reason. Galen Hall just above 1 million chips now, while Eddie Sabat at 1.5. A small blunder. Keep your head up.
Still in contention for that main event champions trophy. Blinds are up to 15 and 30,000 with a 3K ante. At our feature table, we have the two Chris's, chip leader Chris Oliver and Chris Moneymaker, who's under the gun here. Looking down at pocket sevens.
He's going to get the action started.
Sunglasses first. Everything in order.
Now the action started.
He raises to 66,000. Ace-king for Chris Oliver. Blimey, he's got a legitimate hand.
Something we normally don't see. How will he play it?
His standard strategy, which is to raise. He 3-bets to 159,000.
He doesn't let us down.
Palacios has king 10 and folds.
Could be a spot for a cold 4-bet out of one of these guys.
Folded to Anton Yanel in the big blind.
Don't think we're going to see a cold 4-bet.
Instead, it comes back to Chris Moneymaker.
Both of these players have deep chip stacks. Moneymaker has a qualified pair. He's going to want to see a flop.
So he makes the call.
What you got, Chris?
What's that?
What you playing?
1.5.
It's always 1.5 every time you ask the question.
Slow and steady Moneymaker.
Moneymaker's still good on that flop. As a backup, he has an up and down straight draw and a backdoor flush draw.
Oliver has no backup plan, but wow, he has checked. He's slowed down.
He found the button.
He does have a backup plan.
Mark the date and time. The board pairs. Moneymaker's 7 still good.
That gives him an open-ended straight flush draw with 2 pair.
Nice.
$170.
And he is going to lead out on the turn. 170,000.
This is an excellent turn lead. It's highly unlikely Oliver hit that flop if he checked it back after he's been aggressive all day long. Moneymaker is betting to protect his hand and squeeze a little bit of value.
Oliver with the decision.
Call.
He is going to call with his overs and see a river card.
Ace-King looks pretty pre-flop, but on this turn, it's ugly enough to give Freddy Krueger nightmares.
The river card is the Jack of clubs. It's a straight flush for Moneymaker.
7 to Jack, straight flush.
And he checks to the aggressive Chris Oliver who bets 200,000.
Oliver bites on this moneymaker trap. Sneaky, sneaky, Chris.
$5 as he just clicks it back.
I decline.
Are you gonna show me if I fold?
Anytime you ask, I'll show you. Chris Moneymaker.
You're Chris Oliver.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
I'll make it 450.
It's almost a min raise, 450,000 total.
Chris Moneymaker with the excellent table talk, baffling his opponent on this river.
And Chris Oliver forced to fold ace high.
He thought better of rebluffing. For good reasons, Chris had a straight flush.
Wasn't expecting that.
What's that?
I wasn't expecting that.
Do things they don't expect is good things sometimes.
Chris Moneymaker teaching Chris Oliver a lesson as his life coach watches on. The World Series champion who ignited the poker boom is now up over 2 million in chips.
Here at the PokerStars.com Caribbean Adventure, the serenity outside stands in stark contrast to the main.
Good run. Flat days.
As the countdown to 24 players continues, the eliminations have been fast and furious. While the last remaining woman in the field is surging forward with her eyes on the 2.3 million first prize. She's having a fantastic day.
I am now joined by the last lady standing. That's Anna. Hello, Anna.
Hello.
So how's it going?
Very good. I mean, I'm chipping up really good, getting big hands, and I'm getting all the chips. So that's good.
That's exactly what you want.
That's exactly what I want.
Do you think it makes a difference that you're the only lady in the tournament now with all those guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty nice to represent a woman with chips. It's like, we can do it too, so let's go.
And how much would it mean to you to make that final table?
I mean, a lot after a lot of work, so I really want to make it.
Excellent, well, fingers crossed. I hope to see you there. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
So Ana Laura Marquez is looking to make poker history, as is one of the players at our featured table, Toby Lewis, hoping to become the first ever two-time EPT champion. He's all in here with pocket sevens, called by Chris Oliver, who has king-queen and has him covered. But that is a good flop for Toby. His sevens are still good, plus he has an up and down straight draw.
Oliver can't bear to watch.
The chip leader will need a king or a queen to eliminate Toby Lewis. He's having a nap. Wake him up, he's in his king. And now it's Toby Lewis who needs to hit to survive. A 7, an 8, or a 3 on the river. It doesn't come, so Toby Lewis finishes in 34th place here at the PCA main event, ending his dream of doing the European Poker Tour double in the Bahamas.
Well, Chris Oliver continues the theme of the day, stacking chips.
He's back up to 3.5 million.
I thought I went on roller coasters during tournaments. I mean, good night. You must have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in the tournaments.
I have a lot of big swings online playing tournaments.
I'm sure you do.
Chris Oliver is an extremely aggressive player. Let's have a look at the range of hands he's played so far today. Well, he's played 29 of the last 50, and he's won the majority with a 16 and 13 record.
Chris Oliver has played an extremely wide range from early position, mid position, late position, and the blinds to tie it all together. His VPIP is nearly double the table average. For the most part, this aggressive approach has paid off, making Oliver a dangerous, unpredictable player from all spots at the table.
Oliver still the tournament chip leader. Here he is going to be in early position under the gun +1. 3-4, that'll be enough for him to raise.
Generally, this is a muck, but Oliver continues to open wide range from under the gun.
66,000. Grayson Ramage has 5-6 of spades on the button.
Well, he's connected and he's suited. Also with position, great spot to 3-bet. However, he just decides to flat call.
Anton Yanel in the small blind has king-7 of clubs.
With 200,000 in there, it's 51,000 more to call. He wants to see a flop.
And Chris Moneymaker priced in with a very wide range. He's got the same hand as Chris Oliver.
36 more? Is it 66 total?
Yeah,
66 total.
Yeah.
The battle of the Chris's with the same cards.
This is your big blind.
Four-way to the flop. That's the respect that Chris Oliver's raises are getting right now.
That's the respect they should be getting.
It's a king-high flop, so Ian has top pair.
All right, this is a fairly safe flop for Oliver to go ahead and c-bet. He's repping a big hand from early position.
Check.
It came down king high, bet.
Continuation bet from Chris Oliver. Gets a fold from Ramage and a call from Yanel with his pair of kings.
And let's see if Chris Moneymaker gets tricky with the same hand. He's gonna muck one at a time.
Heads up to the turn. 10 of hearts means that Yanel now has a lock on the hand.
Check.
250.
But Chris Oliver will fire again.
Wasting no time, an immediate 250,000. He's trying to represent strength. Well, he's not trying, he did represent strength.
And Yanel mucks the best hand. Folding top pair to Chris Oliver.
Chris Oliver on steroids.
Moral of the story, if you're going to play weak kings, don't fold top pair against the guy who plays half of his hands.
So Chris Oliver consolidates his position at the top of the leaderboard. Second in chips at the moment, seated at one of our outer tables, is Ana Laura Marquez. She watches on as there is an all-in at her table. Eddie Sabat has pushed with ace-king and been called by Mike Sowers with pocket eights. We're off to the races one more time.
Who wore their running shoes?
It's like 550. Oh, not 8 in the door.
Clearly Mike Sowers, because he's hit a set. Sabat drawing pretty thin now. He is drawing dead on the turn. Eddie Sabat eliminated in 30th place, cashing for $66,000, a respectable result off the back of his APPT final table appearance last month. Mike Sowers now up to $2.5 million in chips. Don't call it a comeback, but he did take a break from the game recently.
40, please.
I've had a lot of success with poker, but this past World Series, I just lost my grandmother, and a couple other personal events happened that kind of led me to lose myself, to lose who I was. Just took a long break, went and volunteered, coached at a high school in California, started going to some Tony Robbins seminars. That was the biggest key for me, is just take a step back, regain focus, find inner discipline, and just stick to it. To me, a win here in PCA would mean the first step in my bigger goals. And my bigger goals are, to help our society. We all have power beyond measure inside of us. I'm very confident saying that. It's the most discipline I've ever had, it's the most patient I've ever been. This is the best I've ever played in my life.
In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Sowers has been taking all the right steps for complete mind control.
Well, there's another all-in at this table. Bolivar Palacios, who was on our feature table earlier on, has moved all in with ace-king, called by Max Lemansky with the 10s. Guess what, William?
We got us another race.
Holla.
Who's gonna win the dollars?
No ace, no king. Lemansky's 10 still good.
Vamo, 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 Palacios, ace or king to stay alive.
No dice on the turn. Needs to see an ace or a king on the river to get that double up, otherwise he's out of here. Lemansky can't look. He must have had a premonition that the king was coming. Palacios gets the double up and shows some Latin passion. Lemansky thinking, get it quietly, mate. Palacios up to 3 million now. Lemansky down to just over $1 million.
Ooh, sorry for the reaction, but this thing is really big for me.
Excessive celebration penalties for the win.
Good old-fashioned excitement.
So Palacios is now 4th in chips. Let's see who else is in the top 10. Chris Oliver still out in front, but Ana Laura Marquez is on his tail. Sam Stein, who is third in chips, has been moved to our feature table. He's going to be on the button in this next hand as the blinds go up to 20,000, 40,000. And as we sweat with Chris Moneymaker, we're only going to see his hole cards. There is Sam Stein, one of two new players at our feature table, the other being Shane Karner, who's in the small blind. Action is on Anton Yanel. He's folded. So here's Chris, pocket nines.
Earlier, Moneymaker said he had a read on Oliver. Well, Chris, I have a read on you. Every time you put your sunglasses on, you're gonna play.
Solid read. He has raised it to 90,000. Tim Finney lets it go. Chris Oliver looks interested. He's raising. He is 3-bet to 200,000. Good luck putting him on a hand, William.
This is a difficult task I have in front of me, but I'm gonna go ahead and say he has something suited, and I don't even know if it's connected. It's suited.
High or low?
All over the place, from high to low.
Chris Moneymaker will make the call, and we go heads up to the flop. And that flop is King Jack 8, 2 overcards to Moneymaker's nines.
Money is gonna need that read he talked about earlier if he's gonna navigate this flop.
He has checked to Oliver, who had the pre-flop betting lead. He continues for 235K.
It looks like Moneymaker has got that read.
He will make the call. A 10 on the turn gives Moneymaker an up and down straight draw, just in case his nines are no good.
If Chris Oliver actually had a qualified premium, it surely would have hit this board.
When has he ever had a premium? He's betting for a second time. He makes it 509,000.
I'm all in.
A Moneymaker shoves.
Moneymaker clearly knows something we do not.
He talked about having a read on this player. He's going with that read. 6 deuce is the hand for Oliver. Complete airball, and he lets it go. Moneymaker has been getting the better of Chris Oliver at this feature table.
Money was not afraid to play for stacks. The composed veteran gets the best of the wild young gun. Fearless.
Get the blood racing a little bit there. That was fun.
Fun for you.
It was fun to get the heart beating a little.
So Chris Moneymaker now has more than 3 million in chips. Chris Oliver has lost the tournament chip lead. And at the outer tables, there is another all-in. This time, though, it's not a race. Paolo Rink's 5s dominated by Mike Sauer's 7s. Rink, 4-1 underdog. And needing to see a 5 to survive. Well, that's an interesting card. The 5 would now give Sauers the straight. Rink now needs a 7. He's as confused as we are. Well, the 2 is a blank. Paolo Rink's eliminated from the tournament. And Mike Sauers is the new tournament chip leader with close to 3.6 million.
Fun in the Sun continues in a couple of minutes.
If you would like to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com. There are qualifiers every day.
It was billed as a battle of the Chris's.
Did someone break your check button?
But so far today,
I call.
Chris Moneymaker has got the better of Chris Oliver.
I've been playing with Chris for a while at this point, and I know he's aggressive.
I like having the crazy image. Moneymaker obviously plays a lot more live poker than me, but I think I'm like a better poker player.
He is definitely a dangerous player, but I know I've got the skills. So I like my chances.
Well, let's compare the Chris's. Look at Oliver's VPIP. 56% is more than double the table average, and his pre-flop raise percentage is a whopping 89%. He could do with locating the brake pedal though, because his stack's moving in the wrong direction. The more solid approach taken by Chris Moneymaker has seen his stack move in the right direction today. Blinds are still 20 and 40,000. Chris Oliver is in his favorite place, early position. Tim Finney folds under the gun.
88.
And Chris Oliver raising with 7-5 of hearts.
Well, this is in fact Chris Oliver's favorite hand in all of the poker hands out there.
Sam Stein with Jack Queen, lets it go. Shane Carner folds. Grayson Ramage not interested. Anton Yanel has ace-3 of diamonds. And he will call from the small blind. Chris Moneymaker is in the big blind with Jack Queen. We saw Sam Stein fold the same hand, but Chris has got chips invested already.
So it's 48 to me?
Bring back the squeeze, Chris.
Dude, I'm so bad at math. That's 48, right?
Didn't he used to be an accountant?
You would think I'd be better at math being a poker player.
No, it's
It's a good thing you're not an accountant anymore, though.
I know, seriously.
There's your answer.
People I did their taxes for like, dude, he did my...
Lawsuits being prepared across Tennessee. Well, that is a danger flop for Moneymaker. He's hit top pair.
Check.
But Chris Oliver has 2 pairs. The blinds have checked to him.
135.
And he makes a continuation bet of 135,000. Yanel gets out of the way.
Moneymaker is treading in dangerous water right now.
He makes the call. And the turn doesn't help him. Oliver still leads with 7s and 5s.
260.
And he's firing again. This is a real test of Moneymaker's live read.
Do I get to see this one too? No. But I really want to see it.
Moneymaker does not seem happy with the situation. He doesn't seem comfortable.
The longer someone ponders on a hand, the more likely they are to call.
You got the goods this time, Chris?
He's onto something.
Something tells me you do. I don't know why.
He clearly does have a read.
I feel like you have it actually this time.
Think positive thoughts.
Woo.
Sorry, guys. I'm playing for his tournament life here, maybe. So.
Chris suggesting a raise, maybe.
Small tournament.
Come on, Chris, go with your gut.
Oh, my gut tells me you have it.
Your gut speaks the truth. Definitely go with your gut. He lays it down. Chris Moneymaker is playing so well against Chris Oliver. He hasn't put a foot wrong against this guy all day.
He didn't have top set.
Huh?
He didn't have top set.
I did not have top set.
No, he didn't.
Eight, no.
8, 9. I had a jack, man.
Chris Oliver
mean
creeping
things still
back
have it.
up the leaderboard, up to 2.7 million. Well, let's head out into the field to our outer tables, where Mike Sowers, the current tournament chip leader, is involved in a hand against Ana Laura Marquez.
Fireworks.
Marquez has checked to him on the turn. The board reads ace, king, 7-7. Sowers makes it 150,000.
He's not going to soft play Marquez. He's bringing the pain.
She has made the call. The river card is the 5 of spades. And now she leads out for 200K. Sowers let it go. Ana Laura Marquez will win a pot with 775,000 in it and take the tournament chip lead from Mike Sowers. She's now up to nearly 3.8 million. 25 players remain. Let's have a look at the current top 10. Marquez sits atop the leaderboard. Even though Sowers lost that huge pot to her, he's still in the top 5, as is Chris Moneymaker. Well, we have another all-in. Galen Hall called Nick Cayman's shove. Obviously not the model and singer Nick Cayman. The board is 10-8-6. Cayman's ace high is still good. Still good on the turn. Looks like he's going to get the double up here. Just has to fade. Jacks, kings, and queens.
You're getting greedy now.
It's a queen! Cayman is eliminated in 25th place. He looks at Galen Hall and says, "Each time you break my heart." Hall now up to 2.3 million in chips. Well, that should do it for the day, but actually there's another all-in on our feature table. Tim Finney has shoved with King 10 and been called by Chris Moneymaker with Ace 9.
Money looking to get his money up.
Finney needs to hit a king or a 10 to survive. The plan was to come back tomorrow with 24 players. If Finney doesn't improve, if he's eliminated, we're going to come back tomorrow with 23. An odd number. That's just not right.
Got that Michael Jordan number.
Moneymaker hits top pair. A gut shot straight draw for Finney. He needs to hit a jack now. I have to say, Tim is looking remarkably relaxed for a man who's facing elimination from the PCA. Chris also looking relaxed. If he wins this pot, he will be second in chips in this tournament. Still has to fade a jack on the river. That's the card Finney needs to hit to double up and survive. No jack, so Tim Finney goes out in 24th place. That's worth $75,000. Chris Moneymaker now has a stack of nearly 3.8 million.
And after that knockout, Moneymaker moved up to second in chips. And while that was going on at our TV table, yet another all-in call was taking place in the field. And as a king hit on the river, Josh Bergman's day was done. And we're now down to 22.
Yeah.
Day 4 was heartache for more than half the field. But for those remaining, the goal is clear. Tune in next time as the chip leader and last woman standing will try to make history, while Chris Moneymaker is one step closer to another major title.
Have you got a strategy going into day 5?
It's probably going to be real similar to what I played today. Just pick my spots, play really solid. Tomorrow, more of the same.
For James Hartigan and William Reynolds, I'm Michelle Orp. Thanks for watching the PokerStars.com Caribbean Adventure.